Last week, Warragamba Dam breached and flooded some surrounding areas. We wanted to talk about this morning buying a flood-prone property. Is it exciting or is it risky? Stay tuned.
Good morning.
How are you, Billy?
I'm the refreshed real estate agent this morning. Thank you so much for the King's long weekend. Came at a great time.
The King's birthday just refreshed Billy Bob. I feel
Yeah.
pretty fresh as well.
I feel really good. But this is an interesting topic. Everyone loves a bit of risk, particularly in property, but I think there's good risk and there's bad risk. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I've got friends exposed to it. Our office is exposed to it. We own investment properties exposed to it. I think it's amazing, and it's never really spoken about until you're in the moment, potentially owning the property. As a buyer, sometimes you cannot see it or feel it, but it happens to you that your property could potentially not be insurable, or your property could potentially have higher excesses with insurance because it floods, or because of even fire risk. As an example, something you just never think about.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And then when you put it on a broader scale and you actually get the numbers back, that's what interests me. Because sometimes in your area, it feels like you might be the only house on the street, or you look in certain streets in your suburb and there's just little pockets. But this is sort of statewide, obviously Australia-wide, and IAG, Australia's biggest insurer, has actually done some numbers for us this morning. And I'm pretty shocked.
What are the numbers?
230,000 homes around the country. Majority of those are in New South Wales. Face a 1 in 20, or prone to a sort of 1 in 20 extreme weather disaster. That's a 5% risk.
1 in 20 homes in Sydney are exposed to a fire or a flood risk.
Storm, I think the list goes on there, but yeah, weather related. 230,000 homes around the country. Majority were in New South Wales. Are prone to some kind of weather disaster.
Why would you buy one of those 1 of 20 homes? Would you buy them by accident and you didn't know? Would you buy them knowing and you didn't care?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we've sold recently homes that fall in that category. As an example, one in Belrose, an amazing home at a price point that buyers are not necessarily needing to buy there. They can buy wherever they want. At $6 million. That was prone to fire, and then on the back of that, they've got fire cladding right the way around the house. We've sold others on NARRABEEN Lake, which is a flood-prone area. Again, people don't need to live there, but they choose to. Lifestyle is a big draw card for some of these properties.
Well, that was those fire curtains. I was speaking to the owner about that particular house. They spent $400,000 on these fire curtains, where almost like a cocoon, or almost like I don't know what you'd call it, like a turtle protects itself. The house basically shut itself off from potential fire. So all these shutters dropped down over the windows, and it was an enormous cost that it could actually bear the fire of fires. But yeah, people are going to some massive costs just on the back of insurance. If you do want to know from the naked eye, you can visit your local council when you're buying a property and actually ask the question. Probably more so when it's a house, because if you're going to be building, they're going to have different constraints of the product you can build with. They call it a BAL rating on a house. I think it's I can't know what BAL actually states for. But they have different BAL ratings if you are close to fire, and that's your house being able to withstand fire. And with flood, you can actually sort of spot it if you're looking at the structures that are built in the last 10 years in that area.
Yep.
You will see that they are built half a metre, a metre and a half above your normal ground level. Something that really freaks people out is DY. DY's had a whole bunch of new buildings go onto the main road. Yep. Now, the law of retail, and I was just with someone the other day, Nick Salerno, I think it was, down on Stella Blue, probably the best restaurateur, the most experienced restaurateur in the whole of the Northern Beaches. What Nick was saying was, if you are that far above street level in retail, it will affect your business.
So interesting. I was in that conversation.
Right? So 1 foot above the grounds, and imagine if you're a flood prone area and you've got a restaurant or cafe that's sitting 1 metre above the ground, that can actually destroy your business. So have a good long hard think about it when you're going through these areas of Sydney, when you're going to be buying. Our office, for example, is built over 1 metre off the ground, and it does work for our particular business. But I think if it was a food business relying on a lot of foot traffic, it would be a huge deterrent. But 1 in 20 people are buying in flood prone areas. Now you're saying the insurance has gone up in the last year. You're saying off air.
Yeah, I'll show you the numbers now. But another note they added to that was no region in Australia is considered uninsurable. So I think people, when buying, it's a natural question to ask. What does the owner do for insurance? But IAG states there's no uninsurable area in Australia. So that I think that's a positive. But the numbers are staggering. Like, look at this, and you'll find this online if you go looking for it yourself. But that is insurance.
Price changes quarterly. Annual 16%, movement.
16.3%.
So it's gone up 16% in the last year. Insurance. Is that for flood or fire or both?
I think that's extreme weather. Just extreme weather.
Wow. So I think what's happened is in the last couple of years, all this extreme weather that's happened flies. And first there was the fires, then there was the floods. But I think that it's all caught up now by the looks of that increase of 16%. So people are paying. And don't forget, with strata, it's still actually related, because with strata, your strata levies covers your insurance, and when you own a house, you will own home insurance, home and building insurance, as home building insurance. So you will see your policies go up that much on average. That's a whopper.
There's been more of these payouts related to extreme weather in their last sort of 12 months than ever before, and so it's a no-brainer to see them go up. No-brainer.
Lots of people investing in North Queensland. Insurance premiums are a lot higher, and my guess, bushfire zones are more than flood. Yeah, it's just, you know what, I think, and where it happens is these sort of costs will compound. So if you're paying an extra 16% a year over 10 years and over 20 and 30 years, there's an enormous amount of money that passes through your hands to insurance companies for what? And if you can save that insurance just by investing in an area that has a smaller insurance policy over that 1, 3, 10 years, that can be a lot of bloody money.
That's it. So, is it exciting or is it risky business? I think take it with a bit of common sense. There are some areas like Narrabeen Lake where they've been considered high risk However, new build regs have sort of changed and mitigated that risk. There's other places where you might just not want to be on top of a cliff where the cliff's starting to fall to pieces. No, thank you.
Look, I'll go exciting on this one. That's my vote. I think I would rather buy in an area that will flood, that is close to the beach or close to the lake, not too close, but a little bit I think is good. Like, don't forget, you can actually get ratings on this as well. So what is the actual risk? So for flood, you can find out what the risk is for that particular piece of land. They'll do a 1 in 5 year study, 1 in 3 year study, 1 in 25 year flood study, 1 in 100 year flood study, 1 in 300 year flood study. I've got a property in Coffs Harbour where it breached the 1 in 300. So that's almost 3 or 4 lifetimes people will not see will not see that much water and flooding in an area. So yeah, if you want to find out how risky your property is, you can find out what the 1 in sort of 300, 100, the risk rating is by that metric.
It's a good topic. I think people love it though.
Huge. Lisa says we have a good day, Billy. But what are you doing today? What happens? What happens in your life today?
Well, particularly in a short week, we squeezed 2 days into one, so we could be going all the way through to about 8 o'clock tonight. But we've got 6 or 7 new properties to see this morning as a sales team, and then we're jumping straight into appointments. Pretty much back to back today, prepping for a big investor night tomorrow. If you haven't reserved a seat, you've got to jump on board there. I think it's only 45
I think
minutes.
there's a couple more seats still available, actually, by chance, if people want to book. Awesome lineup of people. My favourite accountant in the world, my favourite mortgage broking company in the world, Shaw Financial, Theo, leader of Shaw. So I reckon, favourite real estate agent, Billy DRURY, Lisa Novak, Mark Novak. No, we're all going to be there. So yeah, definitely come on in, guys. It's free. It's 1 hour, and it's current. The topics that are going to be spoken about that are jammed in to that session are very fruity and very current as to what's happening in the marketplace. So I think it's a very interesting climate.
Yeah, drop us a message. We'll sign you up. Got to get in quicker. Only a couple of seats left, and 6:30 start.
In DY.
In DY, Novak HQ.
Guys, have a great day.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
Bill. Cheers. Bye.